Welcome to the Grey Areas with Martina,
your favorite host, Sisanda Jafta, and this is a platform that seeks to unpack the unpopular opinions around the phrase, not everything is black and white. Simply put, it's not that simple. We discuss all things that have the potential to distort our ability to be sober-minded from both a Christian and psychological perspective. Welcome everybody, welcome GA Squad. Welcome GA Squad. I am forever happy to be back. I hope you guys enjoyed our previous episode. Actually, you guys loved things. Like, the views were much better than before. And I'm like, you guys like things. All things cheating. I absolutely enjoyed it. And if you have not caught up, please just go make sure that you check it out. I really found it quite useful. So yeah, thank you guys for your support, for your love, and all that you do. And let us just get the formalities out of the way. Please subscribe, like, comment, tell your friends to tell their friends that it's happening at the Grey Areas. Guys, I really appreciate your support. Like, I love growing with you, so yeah. And like I've promised, I'll always bring you premium content, premium guest. And today I brought you Top Range. She's been here on the platform before, but before we moved to YouTube, she was on our audio podcast. We're talking about wild love. It is still there. Go check it out. I promise you, you're gonna love her. She's amazing. So yeah, help me welcome my guest, and then we'll do the topic. Her name is Zenande Silosini, Mrs. Silosini. She is my friend. She is a wife, a mom, a YouTuber. Zenande at Silosini. I'll put her details on the description below, and she does some work. Like, she's a professional. I don't want to get into your medical work and stuff, like that. But yeah, she is a medical professional. She's saving lives.
Okay. Don't know about saving, but
you are. I mean, yeah. Welcome, help me welcome Zenande Silosini. Hi, friend.
Thank you so much. Hi.
How are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. You know what? The part I didn't mention, she moved from Eastern Cape just to record this episode.
Imagine, guys. This is how much I take this quite seriously.
Yes.
So you better do the things that need to be done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you so much for honoring the invite, and I'm super happy for us to have this conversation. We will be talking about forgiveness and reconciliation from a friendship point of view. I've heard that friendship breakups are the hardest, and I've experienced that friendship breakups are the hardest, and I really just want us to talk about that, and beyond the whole fallout and everything, the process around forgiveness and reconciliation. So yeah, I am happy for us to have this conversation, and I think I must say, initially I didn't think this conversation would make it here, particularly because I was looking for something more strong, without realizing that even this story is like strong.
No, I understand. I really understand. No, I get you. It wouldn't be the first story you'd want to talk about when you talk about reconciliation and forgiveness. I mean, we want like big things. We don't want like big things.
Yeah,
marriage, you know.
Yeah, almost divorce.
Such things. So friendships are like, oh, okay. But we don't recognize the amount of heartache that is experienced in that whole breakup situation, and also the amount of work that is needed to actually get to a part of reconciliation.
Sure.
So I get why it is here. Obviously, I also didn't think about it, and I understand clearly, because I was like, if you're talking about reconciliation and forgiveness, let's get other people. But like, and now I get the amount of, because I've experienced it as well, and I know how painful it was and how difficult it was just being in it. So yeah.
Okay. I think also let's start it off with some fire questions just to get the mood down. Yeah, before we move on, I actually cried when I was preparing for this, because I think it took me back to the time I was like, shucks, that was heavy stuff. But yeah, let's just do fire questions, and then we will kickstart the conversation. What do you like the most about our friendship?
What do I like the most about our friendship? I think I like mostly the Jesus aspect of it. Like, I know I can rely on you for prayer. Like, if I need someone to come with me in partnership and be like deep in. It's the Jesus aspect of it, because I feel like it covers everything that comes after. So I think for me that part is my favorite. It has always been my favorite.
Okay, that's interesting. One word to describe our friendship.
It's crazy.
What?
It's crazy. What are we laughing at right now? Exactly, and this is what we do. We look at each other and just laugh for no apparent reason. So I feel like it's crazy.
That's crazy. Oh. And then last question. What's the one thing you'd like to experience with me, like an activity or something, like something where you're like, I'd like to experience this with you?
I actually want to go on a vacation with you.
Really?
Like,
double date vibes? Or just the two of us?
Just two of us, no
Okay.
husbands.
Oh, okay.
Love them and stuff. No, but like just travel, just the two of us, without anyone have like those days, just us, just doing what we like and whatnot. So I think that we haven't really experienced it.
Yeah.
Every time would have people around. So it's just me and you. Just saying.
Got you. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that. I think let me just give some context to our friendship. Like, and of course, you will share your side of the story. But we met when we were in high school in grade 9, and yeah, we kicked it off. We did different courses, but we still kept it together. In varsity, we went to different schools, different provinces, but we still kept it together. A very good friendship, very Christ-centered. It became a very strong bond to a point where our families knew each other, and I think they were starting to treat us like siblings. Well, oh, okay, this is it, kind of thing. And leading up to now, but in between, there was a big fallout that we will be talking about. So I want you to maybe describe our friendship, starting from the day you gave me the letter asking to be my friend.
Why undiveza over like I shot by shot?
What were your impressions about me, your thoughts? Like, what was going on when you saw me and you're like, go ahead.
Oh my goodness. But anyways, I remember you came to school and we were in grade 9. I had friends. I don't want to be like, I did not have friends. Like, I had friends. But as I said before, like, I think when you met me, I was always a Jesus girl. And I knew that my friendship was missing that Jesus aspect of it. As much as at first glance, I didn't know about you were saved. But I had like a few interactions with you and I felt like, this girl and if something could happen. And I remember also the other thing that really made it, that sealed what I wanted to do at that time, was the fact that our birthday is like,
oh yeah, that was
like, her birthday is on the 11th of May, mine was on the 12th of May. So I was like, ooh, perfect.
Soulmates.
So I was like, no, I'm going to approach her and I'm going to do something nice for her birthday, so that this actually seals, but it's not just her birthday, it's also our friend anniversary, if there's anything called that. So I think when I came to you, I just wanted that Jesus aspect of you. And when I saw you, I saw a girl that is so confident. My friend, you were so confident, and I wanted that. I know people always think that I've never always been confident. So I wanted someone to kind of like influence me with confidence. Sure. And you were smart, like beauty with brains, girl. I want that for myself as well. So even also having a friend that you're not necessarily competing, but you're like, I know my friend, even Basile, I know that my friend Basile kind of vibe about, and it's nice to just be those friends that are smart and cute at the same time. So when I saw you, I just saw this girl who had so much potential, and besides potential, you had a good head over your shoulder, man. And I was like, I knew you were heading somewhere, and I wanted to be proud of it. I want to be a part of you heading somewhere.
And look at us now, trying to be somewhere.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, that was what I saw. Sure. Like you were everything that I needed at that time. You were the Jesus girl that I needed to grow with. You were the smart girl. We were gonna do the books. We were gonna, a lot of things that we also wrote down. I actually remember things that our rules. We actually wrote rules
about the friendship and how it should operate.
How things should happen and what we will not indulge in. It was so serious.
It really was. And I remember I got born again at a very young age, right? But when I got to school, when you sent that letter thing, I was still not sure. I'm very selective around shame people I meet. I'm the kindest in the room, but we're not going to be the closest kind of thing. So when you sent the letter, it was very nice, the gift, enjoyed it. But I was still not sure if I want this, particularly because you already had other friends.
Yeah.
So it meant if I enter into your space, I adopt them too, kind of thing. And I was not sure, right? But it because I'm quite kind, we managed to pull it off without me being fully committed into it. I think things changed the following year when you said, let's do 21 days fasting. I'm like, oh, ma'am, like 21 days, what? And in my life, I think I had only done 1 day fasting that ends at 6 p.m. So I've never pushed it to 3 days. Now I'm jump starting to 21 days. Ma'am. So it gave me a different perspective to say this is a person I can trust because we are of the same values. We desire the same things. And the more you spoke, I was like, yeah, man, she's my girl. She's my girl. And I think it also helped that we were in different classes and doing different things because it allowed you to be who you are in your fullness and also me because friendships it gets complicated real fast.
It really
It gets complicated real fast. So that whole space allowed us to flourish differently. And it has always felt like a safe space for me in the sense that I know you're not competing with me. And even if you wanted to, you can't.
Exactly. That's what I loved as well.
Even if you attempted to start competing, like you can't because we are not doing the same things. We don't desire the same things. We are not hurting towards the same direction. So the only thing we had to do is to then support each other or leave each other alone if we, So that was really what stood out for me, and our friendship grew and I really got fond of you. And I think I've always struggled with expressing myself. So this one time I called you at hostel. I was staying at hostel. I don't know if you remember this.
Oh my God.
And I told you what was happening at home. And I cried. And the way you received me, I was like, we know one in bed.
I should remember actually.
She's the one kind of thing.
Why am I crying? Okay, this is gonna be
I
so
did say,
emotional.
let's put tissues. I don't know why didn't we put it. Please just strap tissues there.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, that for me stamped it that, okay, no, she's my girl, Shame. I can trust her because trust for me is like a real thing in friendships and relationships and stuff. Fast forward, we kicked it off with those girls, prefects, smart, leadership, everything really. Tom and Jerry kind of vibes.
We're inseparable.
I want us now to just jump to what changed.
What changed?
What changed? Or what led to the fallout?
Shame. Funny enough, I always say to my husband, but every time I have to talk about something that hurt me, I don't know, my brain just like kind of hides things from me and just like, let's put it
Aside.
Let's not like kind of break it down to for you to like put it then or consistently remember, especially if it's someone that I'm gonna live with consistently. So, but anyways, that's not the point. So what I'm trying to say is, honestly, I can't pinpoint exactly to what changed exactly, what happened, but I can remember the events that led to the fallout. We obviously, you were staying in Joburg, I was in Tata, and we were still each other's persons. And honestly speaking, I don't think till this day I've ever had someone like you. Even when we were not friends, I still felt like that aspect of my life was missing, where I have someone that is just for me. But there was a point where I felt that the way that I valued you was not the same that the way that you saw Oba. Like I would introduce you, for instance, and be like, hey, this is my bestie, and you'd be like, they know. Abokanye try to minimize that or try to make people comfortable of the situation, and it always made me feel like, are you embarrassed of
What
me?
if she's not my bestie?
What if
she's changed her mind about me?
you know? And I will say that is also from a part of insecurity where you don't believe that someone can really be for you. And now that I've discovered myself, okay, I'm understanding myself much more, is that I like public display of affection. Like, I want you to, like, guys,
Flaunt you.
flaunt me if you need
Got
to.
you.
Yeah, wanna. So, and I felt every time we came together, especially in the midst of also your other friends, I had to take the back seat. And I'm just like, are we?
What's going on
What's
here?
going on here? And in my mind, at that point, it didn't feel like, Mhlambi, you are taking it, but you know that, okay, everybody knows that I'm already your best friend, so you're trying to accommodate it. It just felt like I was like second best to you. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. And I remember there were a lot of things that were also happening in your life. And I think the other thing that probably ruined it for us is that when you go through something, I go through it.
Okay.
And in most cases, I react. So this is what happened. You went through this whole traumatic experience, if I could say that. Before, it wasn't traumatic. I don't know if I can share it.
Yeah.
So you got pregnant. And I was embarrassed for you, for starters. Secondly, because we had period
rings.
And my friend, at that time, you were so bold to share about it, and I wasn't. And so when the pregnancy happened, I was like, oh, everyone is going to start coming for her. So immediately when you got pregnant, I started cringing at all the people that you have told about the purity rings. And also it just felt like, oh my God, and I didn't want that for you, because I knew Mhlambi, I know the things that happens with sex when you're young and all these things, but it probably is just like something that happened, and abantu would not take it at first, but so it was like I didn't want that for you. And I think I took the position of feeling the embarrassment for you to an extent that when you needed someone to support you, I was a mess already. And I think our fallout started there, where you needed someone to stand firm, and I was a mess. So by the time I came back now to be like, hey, I'm here for you, as the shoulder to lean on, you were already, like, there was a wall.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that wall was so high that I couldn't reach you.
Sure.
And because I couldn't reach you, it felt as though all those things that I was thinking about, maybe I'm not the best friend that I thought I was. And in the midst of all of that, there were other friends that seemed to be doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And every time I tried to do what I know that I'm supposed to be doing, someone else would come and take the role. And in such an extent that there's this lady, this friend of yours, I told her what I wanted to do, and 2 days later, she did everything that I told her. And for me, it was like, but that was my idea, and I think what hurt me the most is that you couldn't see, but all of this was my idea. And I was like, my friend doesn't know me. Like I pushed through, and I remember we coming, and then the baby shower was planned, and I felt like, okay, because I need this to be done and put it to the end. But when I came to see, I remember seeing you that day at baby shower, my heart was shattered. Like, I was like, I'm just here because I'm the girl that I am. I'm just here because Zenande and anduzugiyeka into ndingekayigqibi. But honestly speaking, if it was for me, I wouldn't be here. And I felt even that day, I think you left, and I was serving people, and all these friends that I felt like you were valuing more than me were the ones sitting down, and I was serving them. And I was like, but this is my girl. I'm still the one who's standing on, like, I'm the one who's making sure that everyone is eaten. Like I was just like so busy, to an extent that I think also I kept myself busy to not focus on what was happening between us. And I remember just us avoiding each other throughout the baby shower and not really communicating or saying anything to each other. So I think what really happened for me is I felt left out. And maybe I didn't know how to communicate that, because obviously I've always found it hard to speak about my emotions because I don't want to be petty. Like, andifuna uba wiki mani okokoko and stuff like that. And I think also in that regard, I didn't want to be like, ingat I'm pinpointing fingers, okanye I'm being jealous about you are friends with other people, because that's not the point. I can't always be there for you. I'm in Eastern Cape, you're in Joburg, so obviously it's gonna be, you're gonna have other people. But I just felt like, even need to know Lorna wenza lonto, and this is my idea, show me, no, you are taking them because I said you should be.
Sure.
And it felt like now I'm fighting for my space, and I don't want to be in a space where I'm fighting to be recognized.
Sure.
And I felt like I wasn't recognized. And I remember just going back home, the flight, funny enough, my flight was 7 a.m. in the morning, which has never happened. I was sobbing throughout the flight, but because I knew that the only thing I'm gonna be able to do is to leave you alone. Like, that's the only thing, because I can't take that heartache. So for me, I think if I could put it in plain sight, that what happened is that I felt left out. I felt like I wasn't recognized. I felt like you didn't know me. You didn't value me the way that I thought I should be. And for some odd reason, bigger things came, family dynamics, and just feeling about, no, you haven't been putting much effort. All these things, nitty-gritty, of which I think they were exaggerated mostly by emotions as well. They're probably not really like that, but emotions can just make everything seem so exaggerated. But all in all, it is that. I think that's what happened. So the friendship ended like that because I ghosted you.
Yeah, but that you just blocked me everywhere.
I just blocked, guys, which is not healthy.
Yeah,
for anyone's sake.
This story would have been nice if I was not involved and I was just there asking questions. Now I have to process everything and still ask questions and still hold the conversation, but it's all good. It's all good. Okay. In as much as we've spoken about this before, it still feels bizarre. Like, it still feels painful. Especially because, like you said, it's so hard to... I think even if you would have expressed to me that you're feeling left out, I wouldn't have understood. How? Because according to me, I was still placing you on the pedestal. I was raving about you the whole time. I felt like I was at a place where everyone knows that you're the girl. I didn't realize that everyone knows besides you. That's what happened. Everyone knows besides you, and it shocked everyone in my circle about what happened. So much that even when I narrate the story with the information they had, it didn't make sense. Uba haibo, Sisanda, Zenande, Zenande, like, no.
Oh, bad. Oh, man.
So, yeah, I think I really took it for granted in terms of me still placing you there or making you know that, because I was still really placing you there. Everyone knew. So much that everyone was shocked what happened. And I was more shocked when you blocked me because we spoke every day still. So for me, it became so scary how you can talk to me every day and yet in your heart. And I think from our fallout, after I got hurt and tried processing and realized, okay, I'm not getting information because I'm blocked everywhere. I'm reaching out to family and friends. No one wants to talk. They're saying, just ask her. And I'm like, how am I going to ask her when she's blocked me everywhere? So I had to then settle it within my heart of hearts to say I might have not known what happened between the two of us truly. But if I can talk to you every day, and one day you decide to block me, then I'm not safe, kind of thing. So for me, that was enough to say, I might as well just accept this fallout and not try to do the most, because there's no the most to do. But it still bothered me because I sent you an email.
Yeah, you did.
I was like, nah, fam, you need to talk. What did I do to you? And eventually when you spoke, I'm going to be honest, I wished I didn't contact you.
Sure.
because I'm like, these things that are here don't make sense, number one. Number two, they did not even happen. The baby shower things, whatever, they did happen, but the other things you mentioned, the family dynamics, and then I was like, no, so these things don't exist. And it put me in a position where now I love taking accountability, I love taking responsibility. So being in a space where you read something and you're like, there's no responsibility to take. I didn't do it.
It wasn't me, sir. Kind of like,
I didn't do this kind of thing. It put me in an awkward position to say, I don't want to defend myself like this because there's nothing to, like, I don't know how I would start defending myself. How do you start saying someone is hurting, like, I didn't do it? It's giving narcissist and all these big words you'll use on us now.
gaslighting
you. So it was a losing battle for me that I decided, all right, let me just take my L. So now when we take an L, big things happen in our lives.
Sure.
Significant moments happen in our lives. And we are not there. Let's have that part of the conversation.
I don't want to talk. No, I'm kidding. Because I was like, I agree to this. Big things.
Just to put context on the big things that happened to the both of us, I lost my baby and she tried coming back. Oh, I was fed up. Oh, I didn't want to hear it. Oh, I didn't want nothing. And she got loboled and got married in that period, and I was not there as well. And it was so hard because throughout our friendship, we've always planned about how we're going to be together for marriage. I'll be the bride, maid of honor, vice versa. Like, we planned that whole part. And now she's going through this, and I'm not there. And I don't know whether should I be there or not, because now there's other friends. How do I come show up? I think my biggest issue at the time was, I don't know what you've told people about me. And now if I show up, I need to pass all these protective hedges that have been placed on the account of the things you've said about me. And I didn't have the capacity to do that because I was also grieving. Hey, man.
This is the hardest part of probably my life.
Sure.
I remember when I had that baby was sick, and I think one of our mutual friends contacted me, and she's like, baby girl, this is what's happening. And I remember just feeling at that moment that, Lord, I don't care what she did, I don't care what I did, I'm gonna try to make an effort because I can't let her be alone.
Sure.
Get it. And when I reached out and I realized, no, she cannot allow me, and I felt like if I force things and I come through either way, I'm gonna hurt you even more. So I was like, Lord, the best thing I can do is to pray for her, but it hurt me. It hurt me so much because I remember even when you had the funeral for baby,
Yeah.
like I had one of the hardest days because I'm like, I'm supposed to be a mother dad, I'm supposed to be with her, I'm supposed to be holding her together, and I'm not there. And I feel like nobody understood me because I was still mad at you. Like, for them, they know, but I'm mad at you because the only thing I kept on saying to people was like, no, we outgrew each other, because I was like, I didn't get into it because I didn't understand as well. And obviously, Nalom, I couldn't understand, and because I think on what you mentioned about we spoke every day, but I felt like when we were talking at that time, my emotions were not there in those conversations.
Sure.
You know, when people say that they kind of leave the relationship while they're still in, I felt myself gradually leaving the relationship while I was checking up on you. It was like, I'm waiting for you to give birth,
Sure.
so that I can leave. And not in my life did I think that things will take such a turn. So when I was like, oh Lord, I feel like the to where I think my heart can carry me to. And then things just went south and I couldn't come back at all. Like, I wanted to, but I was like, I really can't. More than anything at this point, most embarrassed, but in drama as well. So it's like, what's gonna happen?
Sure.
Let me just let it be. And I don't think it did any justice that there were people that I knew, Baba Payana, that I felt like I could have went with. And there was someone who's kept on updating me about what is happening. And I was like, I really just generally don't want to hear about it.
Sure.
And I think I just shut myself off. Like, I was like, I can't sort this out. Let me just let it go. Like,
Sure.
I just... Like, when you just like, I can't focus on this right now. And I remember the following day, obviously, was going to be my birthday. And my husband, who was then my boyfriend, had planned something. I had to be happy.
Sure.
I had to be happy because he is playing another role in my life, and I can't be out here sulking and grieving and stuff. Because I mean, if you are grieving, for me, I'm grieving. So, because nobody will understand. But I was
Michelle,
right. Like, she's not. So I'm keeping these emotions.
Sure.
And I can't even tell anyone about them. But I actually miss her. It's crazy waking up not having a message, happy birthday from her, or even seeing statuses like her writing big things about me, of some of them that I didn't know until this was talk status.
Everyone knew except you.
But like I enjoyed, so it was one of the most craziest, yet I don't know what happened that period, because at the same time that I was supposed to be so sad, there was so much of joy that was supposed to be in my life. Like, it was a mix of emotions at that time. So leading up to
the
wedding and the lobola, then the wedding. I think reality kicked in when I thought about who's gonna be at home with me, like for reals, like who's gonna be there for me, Yes, I had a roommate at that time. I had another friend as well, but there was this person that I know about. No man,
she knows the cupboards already. She knows where the salt is.
And there were expectations.
Sure.
My family expected that. Like, there are family members, cousins that didn't know there was a fallout. So they're expecting Sisanda to be here. They are expecting her to be there. And I remember one of my aunts, after Ilobola Day, said to me, Makaba, anino ilungisa lento no Sisanda. It was so hurtful because I was like, I don't even know where to start. It's such a mess. Like, it's such a mess. And I was just like, I just feel like our friendship has just taken the biggest shot, and I don't know if it's ever gonna come back. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so that was the day, Lobola. It was all stressed out, and you were not there, and I'm just, okay, it's fine. I had dealt with it, but I think the Lobola was mild. The wedding day, though.
Sure.
Actually, even having to give up to give people invitations, and thinking about Sisanda doesn't have invitation. Like,
and I was happy, just to cut you, that I didn't get the invitation, because you were going to transfer the decision to me. Now I was going to be the one sitting with this to say, hey, bro, do I go? Do I not go? So now, at least for me, it felt like I'm not invited. And that was enough.
Yeah. So funny enough, before I made that decision of not inviting you, I had a dream as though you were sitting within the rose in Chadonam, and you were just so sad.
Sure.
Like, you were so sad, and I couldn't respond to my husband because I kept on looking, and you were just so sad. And I was like, I can't do that to her and myself on this day. So let me not invite her. Also, now Manfuni, abantu bandibuze like bazobuza uba utheni engazange khange ndim-invite, and it just ends there. Because when people ask me about why didn't Sisanda, I was like, no, I didn't invite her, so how was she gonna come? So now me not inviting you, obviously deciding but I'm not gonna invite you because of the dream that I had, and things just were so hard when we were about to get married, no Lavi. And my friends do pray, I don't want to lie, they do pray, but when I say you're my Jesus girl, I don't know if you understand the depth of that. That there are things that I know that when I give them to you to intercede on my behalf, they get sorted. Like, so when I didn't have that and everything was just not going well, we were struggling so much. There was so much resistance from every side, and I felt like I just had my family and my husband to pray for, to pray with, but like I was like, I need someone that is gonna carry me in this regard, and I not having that. And even when the wedding day came and things were just not working out, like people are not showing up, like people that are supposed to be doing this are not showing up, I felt like, oh my god, if Sisanda on, like I know Klambi, you're not gonna do makeup or put on my weave, but just the order of everything. And I feel like that fight for me also compromised so much of my peace. On my wedding day, I don't even think I ever told my husband this part, but I actually blame myself for not being able to speak to you about my emotions, so that by the time everything happens, because it hurt me so much. Like, it was horrible not having you there. Like, I even wanted to do another wedding because it was such a hard day. Like it was so hard too. Like, guys, I need a part 2. Like, for real, like that was the hardest day of my life. Yes, we got married, but Zana, the forces that we were fighting with. And also, I think you were also that person that could get revelation in the midst of chaos. Not for me, but for what is happening, and just the prophetic voice that I needed at that point. Because I think all the time when things are concerning you, it's very hard to hear for yourself. It's easier to hear for other people. And because that aspect of things, I just feel like things that happened, they could have been prevented in prayer. Nonetheless, all things work together for our good. I'm not disputing that God did a wonderful job. People think my wedding day was amazing. I'm the only one who's hurt. Even my husband was like, okay, I know you're not really happy. I'm not sure if he was happy, but again, like every time he knows I complain about the dress, I complain about the decor, I just complain about everything. And I think it's just recently where I've reconciled, but it probably wasn't a horrible day.
I was about to say that.
It probably wasn't a horrible day. It's just that there were important things that I felt that they were missing.
Sure.
So, yeah. Those were the big things that happened. And how do we come back from
that? I think whilst everything was happening from your end, I was watching your vlogs. I was.
Okay. Weird.
Because I wanted, a huge part of me was happy that you are okay, kind of thing. Things are working out for you, because despite what have happened, I also just felt like at least something could come out of everything that was happening, both from my end and your end. So to see that you are happy, you have friends, even people that I didn't know were close were suddenly close, it brought peace to say she's not stranded. So don't act like, because I would have probably made maybe a good decision, but a bad decision to want to say she doesn't have anyone. Now sacrifice myself and everything I was feeling so that at least you have someone. And probably I would have created a mess because I'm not in the right space, but I'm here to help. But yeah, so I was happy to see that now she's sorted. She has people. And I think that's something my pastor once taught us, that generally when people leave, whatever situation you have, don't overestimate what they could have done, kind of thing. Rejoice that God placed someone else to do the role.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So that's what gave me peace to say, hey guys, there are people, there are friends, she is supported, they planned his bridal shower and don't like things did happen, you know. So for me that gave me peace, even though it was sad to say, could have been me. Could have been me.
But anyways, to what you're saying, friend, of people where they also don't want my other friends to feel like, oh, so like and stuff. They came through for me. Those that did, and I there are others obviously that disappointed, but like God gave me people for that season, because I felt like disotini, like people like God gave me people that I didn't know even in that sense, in that manner, and like then said about everything, like all things work together for our good. Like there's not a moment where I was found in want. Like I was never needy. Like I was never needy. He provided people, but we can't run away from the fact that it was hard. Like it was hard, especially for knowing about there's somebody else that you probably have planned this with gets the vision. Because also, if there's anything that I just wanna highlight to why I deemed your role so important in my marriage. I'm laughing because this is gonna be funny.
I know what you're gonna say.
So there's this thing. So when I dated, I wanted Sisanda to approve of my people. So this time around, when I met my husband, and God had already gave us the message about we are each other's people, and getting her approval and her being finally be like, exactly,
this is the person. Now this is the phone of your phone. That these people you can bring.
You know, and I thought, I don't know if you read Songs of Songs, when the woman meets with
Now you're mine.
Now you're mine, and he is and stuff, and he's telling the ladies of Jerusalem. She goes back to her friends and he tells them how happy she is. And I feel like you were that person for me, but finally, and you were approving of this. So even in the beginning, even when my husband didn't know that he was gonna marry me, you knew.
I approved.
Like and you were like, because God told me that I was gonna get married, and the first person that could tell about that, about friend, God is saying I'm gonna get married this year, and you were like, yes, it's something that I like. So all those, there were important things that you knew.
Sure.
There were deeper things that you knew outside of the beauty,
surface
of what our relationship was with my husband, but you knew deeper things. And so the role for me was that. So that's why I felt like I still wanted you to be there. I would have still loved for you to be there. But then again, like, you being there was gonna be
a mess. It was definitely gonna be a mess. Yeah, no, it was shame. I never thought about it, but now I know. But I just knew that I don't want to be there, because I think my biggest issue was I'll be a what when I get there, because I'm used to assuming a particular role. Now I'll be sitting. I don't have time for that. I'll watch you on YouTube.
I have time for that. I have time. It's like becoming a president, suddenly becoming the rest of it.
I degrade. I don't have time for that. So I was like, I'll just catch up. And I did. Shame, I really did. And I was happy to see that, my girl is good. All is well. I finding my feet, whatever. Fast forward now. Also from my end, a lot of people were telling me that we need to fix this. We need to fix this. Fast forward, our mutual friend gets married. And we were going to be in the same space for the first time we were going to meet since that incident. I think leading up to the wedding, I had so many dreams where we were reconciling, but I would wake up, either cast them out.
Funny enough, I told them it was also dreams where we were laughing together, dream like noise.
Or I would interpret them by saying they mean a type of a friendship. Okay. This kind of a person is what I'm gonna have. Not her. No. I was done. Like, I was really done.
Yeah, no, we were both done.
I was done, Shane, but
we can't do this.
No ways. I've missed a wedding? No. No.
It's too big.
No.
My friend.
And then leading up to that, I reach out and I say we need to talk. And my intentions really were not to reconcile with you. It was just to make sure we're cordial and our friend gets a good wedding and people are not tiptoeing around us. That was my intention. But when we picked up the call, boom, we clicked yet again. We had a very fruitful conversation and it felt like, wow, okay. And I think we were at a space where we both knew how much we needed this because of the difficulty we encountered without each other. So there was no pride to protect. There was no ego to protect. Hey, the soul met the soul, and it was like, we have found each other again. And we tried fixing the friendship.
Yeah.
We reconciled. What is now going on in your head during that time? And maybe leading up to maybe the first year of from that moment, leading like the whole year from then. How was the dynamics? How was the reconciliation process like? Where was your mind at?
Okay. Something that I didn't address is that at the beginning of this whole thing, the fallout thing, is that I wasn't able to express myself.
Okay.
One, I felt you were too prideful to listen to me. Secondly, I didn't think my emotions mattered, to be quite frank.
Sure.
Like, I think I've always been, I've never known how to deal with my emotions. And I've always felt like every time I want to be emotional about something, ndiphethe.
Okay.
So that was the issue before. So this time around, we spoke, and already personally, there's a work that has already been done. So I was going to therapy at that time. I started most before I got married, so I went to therapy personally, so and stuff. And I had done work on myself, and I had already realized my short, comings in a way. And I was already validated that much by my emotions matter. Like, I think also my husband played a huge role in this, because I think I've never been in a space where someone makes me feel that even when I'm saying I'm not happy with you, because they love me, they will not leave me.
Sure.
So that was always my fear when it came to expressing myself, that if I did tell Sisanda that when she said that I was not happy, she would leave me.
Sure.
And so when we spoke now, even before, like when we spoke that day, I was not afraid to tell you what happened. And I was not embarrassed to be like, I wasn't able to say these things at first, because one, I felt you were too prideful. I wasn't scared to even tell you about things that I felt like were things that turned me off in a way in our friendship and stuff. And I think because also on your end, maybe you've done the work, you received me well, because I wasn't bashed. And maybe probably even before I wasn't gonna be, but because of what
You've amplified
it to be and stuff like that. So when we had that conversation, what was going on in our mind, even when I picked up that call, I don't think I thought we were going to be friends. I thought it was not going to be possible. Like, we've missed so much.
Yeah.
Like, what are we going to talk about? Like, really, like, it just felt like Wednesday. It's not going to make sense, because now there's a lot that's happening that I was not there for. When she's feeling this way, what am I going to say? Because Nandipe Kalen, and all these things. So when we are having that conversation, I also wanted to just be right. Like, when we are in each other's presence, we know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not confused, but do I sit? Do I stand? Like, what are people going to do? Like, now I have a spouse too. So you guys are also somewhat related. So now I'm like, how is this going to work? Yeah, but how is this going to work? I want him to be comfortable. I want other people to be as what you were saying, that you don't want people to tiptoe around us. So at that point, when having a conversation, I was willing to put my emotions. I was willing to hear you out as well, to say maybe it's not what I made it to be as well. Let me hear her point of view. So I think I came with an open mind, because I think you sent me a text message.
Yeah.
Firstly, I unblocked you, or did you change your number? I don't know.
Yeah.
Something happened, but there was a text that I received, and when I read it, there was so much peace in my heart that I felt like I wanted to do this. Like, I really needed to do this, because Sana, this part of my life that I'm not sure what's happening with, it doesn't make sense to me. So that was what was happening to me. I was willing to hear you out. Like, I was genuinely willing to hear you out. Also, I had prayed to God, but if she doesn't reach out, then it means that pride that I'm talking about is true. So when you reached out, and I was like, oh, maybe Nyan, this pride that I think you have is probably not true. So let me hear you out, or the Lord has worked on your pride. I don't know.
Things happen.
Things happen. So I was genuinely, so what was happening there is like I wanted to genuinely hear you out, and I wanted you to hear me out. Like, hear me as Zenande for real, because I also felt like, as much as we were like, we had a deep friendship, but I don't think you knew me. Like, I don't think anyone knew me. I'm not an emotional person. Like, I'm always the strong girl, let's pray, putting scripture, and that's how I've been raised, which is not a entirely bad thing, but it does limit connection, the depth of connection that you guys can have. And now, not knowing how to deal with emotions, like I always say now that I realize that, of course, that when emotions are not felt, okanye, like when you acknowledge that I'm feeling this and actually speak about it and deal with them, then they're gonna transfer to some sort of, it's like, how energy is not, and I'm gonna talk about physics, but okay.
As long as it's the energy is from physics.
No,
These
from
days,
physics,
there's
like
chakras
and everything. That's not what I'm talking about. So I'm saying that emotions are like something that you need to feel and understand. When you talk about God is a jealous God. That is an emotion that he feels, and he's bold enough to tell us that that's what he feels, and he's not scared. So the thing is with me is that I didn't think that part of me people needed to have, especially in friendships. So when I came to you, I was bold enough to like, no, if you want to know me, like if we are going to be okay with each other, you need to know I have these feelings, and sometimes I feel like this, sometimes I feel small in the room. I know you think I'm confident enough because probably I'll talk even though I feel small, but even if I feel small, like even if I do all those things, I still feel small. I still want to be seen. So also just saying want to be seen as a black child, it's like when I so that for me was like so that's what was happening. It's like I was ready. Like I was ready to have the conversation for myself, to set myself free also, because Sana, it's such a bondage to not
fix things with people that want something to you.
Yeah, it's really like, oh my God, like I'm letting you go, this is not it, it's fine, and closing it, but it's not that deep. But this depth, it wasn't like we needed something better. Even if we were concluding that day, then
that's very interesting and insightful. I think for me, what was happening, before then, I think I want to touch on the fact that I've also struggled with expressing myself. And when our fallout happened, I had an introspection to say, I've lost so many people, and in as much as they all speak, no, they did.
It's okay. So I'm going to speak it up, but it's telling me more far, but it's fine.
But I picked up, but there's a thread here. And this thread is that people don't feel sin. People don't, they're not experiencing more of me. And I'm not giving it. I had to come to terms to say, actually, I didn't give it. I didn't give the deep parts of myself, because I also struggle with expressing myself. I don't build trust like that. Like, we can flow. Trusting you.
Okay.
And because of that now, I can't give myself to you because I don't trust you like that. So here and there, basic things that you would probably see even if I didn't tell you. But to say, I'm struggling to sleep, you never hear that from me, kind of thing. So I realized that Shame and my friends, they don't want something bad from me. They just want vulnerability and intimacy. They want me for real. And because I was also doing therapy from my end and all of that, I was able to hear you when you spoke. But she's not over exaggerating. Yes, I did value her. So I don't know how this thing works, but my heart's like, I love you with all my heart, but not to an extent where I'll give myself over fully. I need to constantly pull back. Hence, I'd even been in a conversation for an hour and I probably said one thing and I listened to the next person. And they think, oh, we're so close because you are so comfortable with me. But yeah, those are dynamics that my psychologist and I are working on. Work in progress. So that is why I was able to receive you. Okay. And we had quite a very good conversation and it seemed like it was going to the direction of reconciliation. And I was like, but that's not why I called. But it's not a bad idea because actually I need this. I need her back in my life. So we tried working it out. But I was still not certain. I still needed more. I felt like I needed more conversations. Because I think for me, like I said, that whole thing where we could talk every day and one day you woke up and blocked me. Hi.
I bad.
I was like, hi. I don't trust that even the conversations we have, one day you... Yeah, are they real? Like, hi, no, that thing rocked me. So it took me a while to trust you. Like to get comfortable to say, she meant she's harmless.
Oh, man,
She's harmless.
I'm thinking also, after that conversation we had a series of conversations.
Yes, we did.
Like, there were points where I'm like, I would remember things that did not treat or sit well with me even. Like, also when this happened. And funny enough, we were able to still receive each other. So the conversation, I just want people to know that it was
not a
once-off conversation. Like, it's a conversation that carried on. And I think also that gave us a space to be able to now be able to be vulnerable with each other to a certain level.
Yeah.
Because I remember when we were reconciling, I was pregnant.
Yeah.
And I don't know, do I tell this
talk
girl
about the baby? Is she gonna miss her baby?
Yeah, also because we needed to find out that balance. But if now I start talking about me being pregnant, what are we gonna do now? Like, are we gonna be excited?
Am I settling scores? Am I withdrawing?
Oh my God, it's on one hand.
It's revenge time.
So like it was a consistent conversation to the extent that I remember I spoke about hormones. I don't know why I was speaking about hormones, but you picked it up from me saying, "But are you pregnant or are you having birth?" And then I was like, I laughed, and then I told her that I was pregnant, and then I think you were wise enough to tell me the following day, my friend, I don't have problems when you have conversation about babies in general. So I was like, because I was like, hey, so
how do I start that? How do I ask her?
So I think what I'm trying to bring out here is there needed to be an intentionality from both of us to say, but so you tell me what offends you now. Like, we don't, just because we spoke and I told you what offended me, I'm not going to be able to assume that whatever happens from here, even if it's a bit similar, or maybe I won't even remember that it's similar, but it is your responsibility now to kind of tell me, but this is hurting, and it's also my responsibility. But my friend, asilungisela. So I think that's the direction in which things led to. So that's how reconciliation happened. As much as we were not planning for it, the consistent communication happened.
Yeah. I think she has said my next question as well which would have been, what are the different steps we had to take? It was not once off conversation, multiple difficult conversations. Multiple difficult conversations, and having to remember that, because personally I can't be a very closed off person. So having to remember that, friend, when you did ABCD, it made me feel this way. It's not only, we're not doing that to keep on hurting each other, but to say, for us to move forward properly in the right direction, we need to fix this so that it doesn't continue for the next to continue blocking. Because I think I'm very sensitive than I'd like to admit. Mm-hmm. And in as much as it's good for my spiritual sensitivity, but I still need to manage it emotionally. Hey, because people are not trying to come at you all the time, kind of thing, offer grace and all these other nice things that we should offer to one another, tolerating each other, bearing one another. Also, another thing I forgot to mention is that I really looked up to you like way more, and I didn't understand when you felt like I didn't see you like that, like superiority on all of that. And that exposed me to a side of you that it's me that I'm looking up to her, but I still need to tone it down a bit and see her from a human level. The same grace and love I would give to other people that I'm not close to like that, she also deserves that. So it's just been a series of growing, a series of loving one another, difficult conversations. They've reduced now. I mean, it's been long.
2 years now, isn't it? Yeah, no, it's no longer difficult now.
It's been long. Now we're flowing, we're planning the future again, a new normal. We're present in each other's lives. Yeah, we're building with what we have, man, and it's quite good.
Yeah.
I do want us to close this conversation. Yeah, it's been good.
It's been amazing.
Thank you for this.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it. Okay, I don't know if I enjoyed my crying too much, so I'm not sure if that's enjoying or what. But thank you so much for this. I appreciated this so much. I love the depth in which that came out from this. So thank you for having me as well.
So yeah, guys, the purpose of this was not to come and share our story or whatever, but just to encourage reconciliation. One of the ministries of Jesus is actually to reconcile us to God, but also us to live in reconciliation and forgiveness with one another. And I hope that this has given you a bit of courage to reconcile with whoever you'd like to reconcile with. Please pray. Oh, there was a lot of prayer leading up to me texting her. It was not just, I'm ready. No. I prepared in prayer. Cried a lot sometimes because I felt at some point that why should I be the one reconciling? And the answer was that work out your own salvation. It's your godliness. You will be the one answering why didn't you reach out. So please like, share, comment, follow her on her YouTube channel, and follow our Instagram page. There's a lot of information on what's happening on the Grey Areas Hub as a whole. So guys, love you. See you next time. Bye.